YouTube, my name's Gray, this is Video Holocaust, the best place on YouTube for martial arts, action and worldwide cult cinema. And in today's review, we are going to be treated to an on-screen pairing of a muscle-bound Swedish samurai whose career never really took off despite high-profile comic book roles, and a second-generation kung fu wannabe whose career almost died before it started thanks to the utter rubbish that was Laser Mission. They are, of course, Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, who would star together in 1991's Showdown in Little Tokyo. Where do I start with this one? The brainless, predictable action movies of the 80s may have limped into the 90s with new stars like Steven Seagal taking full advantage of the fact that the action genre's two leading lights, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, both deciding they were now going to be comedians. But with audiences still clamouring for their action movie thrills, Warner Brothers would stump up a modest $8 million budget for an action movie vehicle for two potential superstars, Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee. Lundgren had worked hard to get this opportunity and was determined to grasp the nettle, while Brandon, who had dallied with acting in a TV movie version of popular 70s show Kung Fu, as well as a forgettable Hong Kong actioner Legacy of Rage in his younger days, had now finally made the decision to take his father's profession seriously and try to make his own mark in the industry. Now, sadly, as I'm sure you're all aware, only 2 years after this film's release, Brandon would be killed on the set of the movie that would not only make his name, but for the very first time take him out of his father's long shadow, The Crow. And for action fans like myself, we can now only dream of what his career may have blossomed into, such as what if he was to have played Neo in the almost perfect as it is anyway Matrix movies instead of the living birth defect Keanu Reeves. The story concerns Lundgren's character as he looks to keep law and order in Little Tokyo by beating the shit out of everybody. But when a particularly nasty group of Yakuza come from Japan looking to market a new drug they've been developing, Lundgren may need a little help, and he gets it in the fists of fury of Brandon Lee, and together this unlikely double act set out to clean up the streets. But when Lundgren discovers the Yakuza boss is none other than the man who killed his parents, things get personal. Besides our two stars, there would also be some familiar faces on the bad guy side. Firstly, the Yakuza boss is played by none other than Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, but then again, what action movie from this period didn't he appear in? He would also pop up in Kickboxer 2 The Road Back, appear in the big screen video game adaptation of Mortal Kombat, and even turn up in an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Also rounding out the cast is another Japanese actor who specialised in bad guy roles, Toshihiro Obata, who some of you may recognise from his most notable acting credit of Tatsu in the original Ninja Turtles movies, but he was also in China O'Brien 1 and 2 and the Richard Norton vehicle Sword of Bushido. Hey, wait a second, who the fuck was that? Go back, rewind. Some guy's just sitting in the corner like a naughty schoolboy. What's that all about? This movie, man. You know, the studio cut a lot of scenes out in order to shave the running time down, and to my knowledge they've never been included in any home release. But that's not my main gripe I've always had with this movie. You know, one thing has always puzzled me about the career of Dolph Lundgren, and that's despite holding a black belt in karate and winning a European championship in his competition days, he's never really cut loose and shown his martial arts skills on camera. And sadly, we're still waiting, as it seems director Mark L. Lester, the man who helmed Commando starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, preferred guns and swords to hand-to-hand fighting. And while Brandon shows a little of what was to come later in Rapid Fire, Dolph puts the training he received playing He-Man in '87 to good use as he avenges his parents' death by skewering their murderer to a fireworks display that then explodes. Fair enough. And as our heroes walk off into the LA night, flanked by festival goers and cosplayers who bow in respect for no adequately explained reason, the movie ends. Now, Showdown in Little Tokyo is not a great movie. It's not even a great action movie. But I have to be honest and say I've always enjoyed it. There's just something about its unrepentant cheesiness that you just have to admire. And while for me the only real saving grace is the on-screen chemistry of both Lundgren and Lee, who clearly had a lot of fun while making this. So if you're ever in the mood for a good old-fashioned action adventure that doesn't tax the brain cells, then Showdown Little Tokyo may just be the movie for you. So, my name's Gray, you've been watching Video Holocaust. Be sure to stay tuned for a lot more reviews from the world of martial arts and worldwide cult cinema. So, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, goodbye.